You'll have more to go on with Artie Cat and Thruway Recreation, proud sponsors of Grand Central. Artie Cat, more to go on at your Thruway Family Recreation Store in Grand Falls, Windsor.
GFT Aerospace Technologies, a diverse training program attracting students from Canada and around the world. Their professional mission, enabling students to live the dream.
GFT is proud to sponsor Grand Central.
Van Bay, Blaketown, Daniels Harbor, all the way to Cape St. Mary's. Favorite brand, Newfoundland, of course, Central Dairies.
Central Dairies is a proud sponsor of Grand Central.
Are you okay? Help! I need some help.
Hi, I'm your host, Joan Hawkins, and welcome to a special edition of Grand Central. Tonight we're going to be taking you on a tour of the Grand Falls House, and I will be speaking to some seniors who have made our town, Grand Falls, Windsor, what it is today. The Harmsworth brothers founded the Grand Falls Paper Mill in 1909. One of the brothers, Alfred, was knighted by King of England and was known as Lord Northcliffe. In 1909, he decided to build a home away from home for his wife, Lady Northcliffe. It took 300 men just 9 weeks to construct the home at a cost of $50,000. By today's standards, 300 men working 9 weeks would have cost approximately $1.6 million in labor alone. The setting of this house certainly adds to the flavor of the building. It is surrounded by white birches on spacious grounds which overlooks the Exploits River. The interior of the house is divided into 10 beautifully kept suites. Fireplaces are located in all the rooms and were built of local stone by local workers. The woodwork, trim, and doors were also homemade. There is a viewing area with stained glass windows on the second floor. From the location of the Grand Falls House, visitors have a breathtaking view of the Exploits River. This private residence hosted royalty such as provincial premiers, Premier of Russia, Lieutenant Governor of Newfoundland and Labrador, and most recently in 2005, Lord Northcliffe, who took part in the town's 100th anniversary celebrations. Because the Grand Falls House is a private home, there are many local residents who have not had the opportunity to see the inside of that magnificent house. Well, Grand Central had the awesome privilege of taking a tour of the Grand Falls House. President of the Grand Falls Windsor Heritage Society, Blaise Pinsent, shared with us a lot of history.
Well, Joan, welcome to Grand Falls House.
Thank you so much, Blaise.
Right now we're in the living room of the Grand Falls House, and as you can see, I mean, I've been involved, I would say, about 15 years off and on coming out here, you know, and being here. And all the furniture that I see here is the same furniture that I've ever seen here. Mm-hmm. So there have been modifications to this house, but I wouldn't really know all of them. Mm-hmm. But there are people that have studied this house quite
sure.
You know, with a lot of energy, and that's certainly.
I like the woodwork, and I like the windows. It's very nice. It really dates the home, doesn't it?
Well, the beams and the outside is certainly characteristic of the old English style. The furniture, you know, you have different pieces of different periods that grace this home, and it's a real treat for people to be able to have a look at this, because for as long as it's been here, I mean, with 99 years of history, not very many people from our local town have been here.
And that's why I'm so excited to be here today, Blaise. Yeah. Our viewers are going to love this. I know they are.
Well, the Grand Falls House is the guest house for the guests that come to Abitibi-Bowater, and many of the people that have been here, of course, the Governor Generals of years gone by, the premiers, the of course actors. Gordon Pinson spent several nights here, and anyone that comes a guest of the company on company business might also stay here as well.
I think what people might know most about the Grand Falls House is the grounds. People having pictures taken, wedding pictures and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, that's a service that everybody seems to avail of, and you know, if you want wedding photos on the grounds, you just need to contact the executive secretary at the mill, and she can arrange that. But the flower garden, funnily enough, is quite an extensive array of color in the middle of June and July.
Wow.
And normally people don't get to see that part. And, you know, the students and the mill manager's wife that take care of that, it's a real work of art and labor of love. The soil, I was told, and I can't verify this, but I have heard it several times, the soil is actually English soil that came over as ballast on ships that would come over to get paper.
Really?
And then they would, of course, when they brought the paper back to England, they'd have nothing left to bring back, so they'd fill it up with soil and bring it in and put it in the garden.
Wonderful. Well, that's a bit of history for us.
Well, it's a good rumor anyway.
It's a good rumor anyway. But you know what, Blaise, they had a lot of garden parties here too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and that brings a lot of people from the community in here as well.
Yeah, Canada Day, of course, this used to be quite a traffic
I know,
jam.
it sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see the Exploits River. They are just flowing behind it.
The
It's so
view,
beautiful.
the view here is excellent, and it's one of the premier pieces of property in Grand Falls, Windsor. There's no mistake.
And let's see the rest of this building.
Okay.
This beautiful house.
Okay.
Okay. Well, this is obviously the dining room, Blaise, but what can you tell us about it?
Well, this is where most of the functions are held with regards to dinners and specialties, but the kitchen staff would serve through here, and this is where everybody would come in, quarter-century celebrations, some mill retirements, if the numbers were small enough that they could be accommodated here. Husbands and wives of employees would come in here and have their dinner.
I like to see that the decor here, especially the wallpaper.
That's right. The wallpaper is certainly ornate, and the wrought iron windows and all the original English style is here. The long drapes. It's beautiful.
And it's very warm and welcoming, I find.
Yes, it is, and certainly with the staff that are here, and as you know, Anne Boone said she's been here for the past 25 years. I mean, she is, I think, the one that really makes this the welcoming dining room that it is.
I'm sure she's synonymous with the Grand Falls House.
That's right.
And she does a really good job too.
Of course, you can see all the hardwood floors and all the furniture. Again, has been here for as long as I remember coming here. You know.
I know, because I can look at some of the chairs and you can see the indenture in it from use, you know, and that's a good thing.
Oh, it's a great thing.
That's
I
nice.
think, you obviously the idea of heritage and history is to try and keep it, but I mean, it has to be useful history, and I think people, the more people that have gone through here and actually had this experience, I think we are richer for it. No shortage of fireplaces in Grand Falls House. Almost every room has one, and the cups. I'm not sure. The middle one I know was passed over 1908, I believe, by Lord Northcliffe. Well, as Anne mentioned, this room was originally the drawing room, and this has been refurnished into the dining room. And this rug, as you mentioned, is 35 years it's been here, and I think for anyone that's had a dining experience here, they've certainly been treated to almost like royalty. Perhaps you'd like to see upstairs?
I'd love to. Love to. This beautiful Grand Falls house overlooking the Exploits River has no shortage of sleeping space. Guests can stay in any of the 10 eloquently furnished bedrooms.
Well,
Another
Joan,
beautiful bedroom.
welcome to another bedroom, like you say. And I'm sure you must have noticed the door handles. I mean,
I sure
a little bit lower, about 2.5 feet from the ground.
Uh-huh.
And the story goes, and I believe it's true, is that Lady Northcliffe was a diminutive woman, and she had all the door handles put to where it was comfortable for her to open.
How interesting. So that's the reason for the low switches as well.
That's right.
Okay. Each bedroom has its own unique decor.
Quite a treat just to have a walk through.
Oh, it is so beautiful. And I love the bedding and the drapery is very nice. Everything's matching.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little table there to write home if you're away from home.
That's right. And all the structural beams you can see, that's the real, solid wood beams that that this is a solid building.
Oh, definitely.
And of course, that's what's kept it here as long as it is. I mean, it certainly would be something that you would hate to have an accident and a fire or something like that. Have taken so many buildings in years gone by,
That's right, Blaise, that's right. And there's a lot of history. Look at this armoire behind us.
That's right.
That's beautiful.
The Heritage Society, even though we have no
building yet?
We have no building, but we certainly like to, always think of this one as kind of like a watermark or a mark of what Grand Falls, Windsor is all about. I mean, we certainly enjoy being associated with this, and I can't thank Mr. Olford enough for allowing us to have this opportunity.
Blaise, thanks so much for giving me a tour of this today. I really enjoyed it.
Well, Joan, it's certainly been my pleasure. I mean, I think Abitibi Bowater are certainly proud of this building, and they've certainly been great caretakers of it over the years. All the mill managers that have taken part in making sure that this building is what it is today certainly deserve a round of applause and a lot of credit for keeping it the way it is.
Oh, they sure should be proud of what we got here. Blaise, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you, Joan.
We hope you're enjoying the tour of the Grand Falls House. Thanks again to Blaise Pinson for giving us the tour, and thanks also to Barbara Smith for her assistance in providing historical information on that elegant house. Well, we need to take a break. Don't go away. We'll be back with more of the Grand Falls House.
Lives at Thruway Recreation in Grand Falls, Windsor. Thruway Recreation has the best selection of Bayliner boats in Newfoundland and is a proud sponsor of Grand Central. Bayliner, where fun lives.
GFT Aerospace Technologies is proud of their students, proud of Newfoundland's aviation history, and proud to sponsor Grand Central.
Central Dairies is a proud sponsor of Grand Central.
Grand Central is sponsored in part by Safe Work Newfoundland and Labrador.
I really feel the Warhams is a family. We just talk and share different stories. And it's really nice because it's very intimate and you just get to be together and get to know the younger champs and the older ones. We're there for each other and we really support each other. I feel like I've known them forever. It's incredible, the bond we share.
Call the Rogers TV Viewer Response Line at 709-489-6685 or email your comments to grandcentral@rci.rogers.com.
Preserving and reflecting on our heritage is most important to the seniors of our town. While I was at the Grand Falls House, I had a chance to speak with several seniors. Yui, the Grand Falls House here is quite familiar to you.
Oh, yes, because we used to be here from the Union and everything else. I was involved with the Union and we were here quite often.
What was it like growing up in Grand Falls when you were a young boy?
Oh, very good. We had everything we wanted, I think. Only thing we used to have trouble with, us fellas, only a few of us used to practice for the track events of tree running, and we couldn't get in the field. We weren't allowed in the field to go practicing.
And why was that?
Well, I don't know why, but we used to get over the Ogilvies, lived next. Mr. Ogilvie lived next to it, and Alan was a member of the track team. We used to go ahead ladder, go try over the fence and get in the field, go practicing for running.
Now, I know you were a runner, you loved to run, and you broke a record one time. Tell me about that.
Well, a record in St. John's. We went to Belown, and I used to run a half mile, and the other fellows ran different things. But I used to run the half mile, and we ran this half mile, and I was doing fine, as I thought. and I was quite a distance ahead of the other fellows at the end of it, and I could have made it better. If I had known I was doing that well, I would have gone faster. But I ended up, I broke the Newfoundland record for juniors by 3 seconds, and I couldn't believe it. And Charlie Edwards was so excited. He had a camera. He threw the camera on the ground, put his arms around me. That was it.
Is that right? Now, that's a wonderful memory.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Now, I know you were athletic, but you love skating, too. Tell us about skating. And you called it the rink then.
Yeah. We used to get in the rink with Uncle John Hillier. Used to have, of course, we had the old rink then when I was growing up. We didn't have the artificial ice and everything else. We didn't have the new rink. The ice was made normally. And one thing we looked forward to was a season ticket for the year. And season tickets for them were $3. And you look for one, make sure one of you, that's one of the things you always wish for to have in your stocking, was a season ticket for the rink. And sure enough, it'll always be there.
And skating, you just gave up skating just a couple, 3 years ago.
Only a couple of 3 years ago.
And that was when you were about 86, was that right, Huey?
Oh, yes, about 86, yeah. And I gave up curling only a few years ago, too.
So how can a person keep up an event such as that, skating and curling, at that age? What's your secret?
I don't know. I just wanted to do it, and I kept on doing it. I don't know if I may go back to the rink again yet.
And you were quite involved in the cemetery committees here in Grand Falls, Windsor, too, Huey?
Yes. I'm still chairman of the cemetery committee. Wow. That's a job. I've been at church work since I was 17. I wasn't supposed to be on the vestry until I was 18, but I was nominated for it, and I didn't mind, but someone argued, but I wasn't supposed to be there, but I went there, and I've been involved ever since.
Mary McCormick just recently turned 95 years young, and as you can see, the enthusiasm has not wavered, as she still loves to play those ivories, to the admiration of all who listened. Bless your heart. You haven't lost your touch, have you? Thank you so much, honey.
Oh, you're sweet.
Bob, so did you enjoy the afternoon here at the Grand Falls House?
It's been grand. It's wonderful.
You haven't, you've been here before, and it's been almost 75 years?
Grand Falls was a company town, and the company owned everything here, and the manager of the company one time had a great idea. He decided to invite the children of the superintendents to come up to the Grand Falls House for a Christmas party. And I remember only one thing about it, that I got one of those baby brownie cameras.
Oh, yes.
That's true. And the first picture I took was of the log house out there that same summer. And I cut off most of it. I didn't know very much about pictures or anything, but I must have been about 5 or 6 years old.
Is that
so
right?
That would be 75 years ago.
Wow, isn't that something? Bob, you've been a businessman in this town for over 50 years. What was it like to start a business here in Grand Falls, Windsor back then?
Well, it wasn't too bad because I didn't know much about business or anything. Not a thing.
Is that right?
But I just come back from university, and so that was 1949. Actually, I arrived home, I think, the day after we became Canadians. So we had a nice opportunity. We had a big lot and everything else, as you can see down there now, how big it was. Mm-hmm. They're putting a lot of things on it, a lot of buildings on a very lot that we had.
That's right. It was a very busy lot, too.
Oh, it was a very, very busy lot. We had a lot of fun. Well, I built a house, raised a family, and they all left, and now we've waited until I had a heart attack, and then I had to go and leave the place. Mm-hmm. Praise be. Can you imagine having to keep greenhouses right now with the cost of oil and stuff like this?
Definitely.
So it's really too too difficult to think about.
Yeah, sure.
More than anything else. So I'm glad now we had a good life. Grand Falls has been a good place, and it still is. And I say Grand Falls because I don't think Grand Falls, Windsor.
No, that's right. I
And I believe that it's been a wonderful place.
Geraldine, square dancing. You know all about square dancing. What can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, my husband and I went to Acadia University to learn it, with the compliments of the ladies from St. John's who were square dancing at the time. They talked us into it. And it took us 2 months to talk my husband into going, but Ruth Power and myself. It took us that long to talk him into going. He went and loved it, which I could kill him for. Yeah, but it was very nice. We came back then, and it was 25 years. We took square dancing all over central Newfoundland.
That's very interesting. And I know that you lived here in Grand Falls, Windsor, and you raised your children. And but go back a little bit. When you met your husband, tell us exactly where that was.
On Hague Road, where we had, where we lived at that time. We had just moved up there from Church Road. That great big white heritage house on Church Road was where I grew up. That was my grandmother's house. And we moved up to Hague Road, and at that time Pop put together the radio station and invited different people in, like so many from the mill and so many here and there, to sing and to perform. And that's where I saw my husband first.
And what was your thoughts when you first saw him come in?
I thought he was the most handsome thing I ever saw. He had ready blonde hair and dimples.
Is that right? Now, he only passed away just recently, not even a year ago. How many years were you married?
69 years, and he would have been 97 yesterday if he had lived.
Now, he was known as Pickles, Geraldine, and when he retired from the mill, there was a lot of people at the mill really didn't know his first name.
That's true. That's true. There's people who used to ring and ask, was Pickles there, or ring and ask for his right name, and nobody knew the difference. They really didn't.
And where did he get the name Pickles?
His mother named him. They lived right down across the hill from the school, and he used to run home, and his mother used to preserve pickles of all kinds, and he used to clean out the jar before she'd get home. And so they nicknamed him Pickles.
Vera, I know you liked to go swimming when you were a child. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'd swim wherever I could find water.
But you did have a favourite place, up where the old outdoor swimming pool was here in Lincoln Road.
Yes, I went there. But I nearly always went up to Sandy or someplace along there and get out, but not out too far in the ocean.
Did you ever disobey Mom and Dad by going out too far?
No, they well, Mom knew I was pretty jumpy about it, but I had some swimming lessons and that, and I knew what I was doing, and I never had any trouble there, and they didn't mind. But they didn't come with me. There's kids, and then the swimming pool was there and all that, and I'd be on the bicycle.
It was my pleasure to reminisce with the Grand Falls Windsor residents. They have given much to our community. Well, as you can imagine, the size of the Grand Falls House and the fact that they play an important role in entertaining many events, they require a great staff. I spoke with Una Boone and Judy Miller, who combined have 30 years of service with the Grand Falls House. I asked Una what a day would entail as an employee of the Grand Falls House.
Well, we come in and we start, usually if they're staying at night, in the bedrooms, and we dust and clean the bedroom, and then we work our way down and we set the table, and Judy's preparing the meals, anything we can do to help. And when they're gone, we all clean up and whatever needs to be done, and this house is kept very spotless.
And Judy, do you ever find it a challenge? Do you ever become overwhelmed trying to prepare for such dignitaries?
No, not really. I come in and when Anne calls me and she tells me the number, and I will come in and prepare a menu, then the grocery list, and we will get the groceries, and then we will prepare the food.
Now, Una, I know a lot of important people have stayed here. What are some of the guests that you've seen over the years?
I've seen all of the lieutenant governors in the 18 years I've been here, and Gordon Pinson and the Harmsworth, and most of our customers that buy the newsprint from Abitibi stay, and they've been from all over the world.
And I know that, did you ever get to meet these people on a personal level?
Yes, sometimes we do. They'll sit down and have a little chat with us.
Judy, how do you decide on the menu for the Grand Falls House?
Well, sometimes the manager will specify what he would like to have, and there are other times when they just leave the menu up to me. Most times, if it's a sit-down dinner for the manager, they will let me know what they want. But if it's a buffet for 25, 30, 40, maybe 50 people, then they usually leave the menu up to me.
I can't imagine being responsible for a buffet for 50 people. Well, Judy and Una, thanks so much for talking with me today, and thank you so much for the refreshments that you served here this afternoon.
Nowadays, life can seem like a blur with things just whizzing along. But don't let the sights and sounds of Grand Central pass you by. Give us a toot at 489-6685 or keep track of your thoughts in an email to grandcentral@rci.rogers.com. Or pull into our Grand Central website and leave us your comments there at www.rogerstv.com.
You'll have more to go on with Artie Cat and Thruway Recreation, proud sponsors of Grand Central. Artie Cat, more to go on at your Thruway Family Recreation Store in Grand Falls, Windsor.
GFT Aerospace Technologies, a diverse training program attracting students from Canada and around the world. Their professional mission, enabling students to live the dream.
GFT is proud to sponsor Grand Central.
Fortune, Ferryland, Nippers Harbor, all the way to Cape St. Mary's. Favorite brand of Newfoundland, of course, Central Dairies.
Central Dairies is a proud sponsor of Grand Central.
I hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Can't think of a better way to end a great season. It's been a busy one, and we thank you all so very much for your support. For details on the Father's Day draw, be sure to watch Channel 9 public service announcements. The draw will take place June the 12th, and it's a wonderful Father's Day gift, compliments of Bishop's Falls Timber Mart. Well, my thought for you today is history is like a ship carrying living memories to the future. Have a great summer. Thanks for watching.